Welcome to GameSpot's E3 2018 stage. I'm Matt Padgett, and today I am joined by Patrick Ewing.
That's right.
And you have brought a game for us today called NeoCab.
That's
and I'm
right.
very excited to see this. I saw this during the PC gaming show. There was a trailer. Tell me, what is this game about?
In NeoCab, you are Lina Romero. You're the last human driver on the streets of Los Ojos, which is a city that's been taken over by autonomous cars. It's sort of a near-future world where nobody owns their car, and like a Uber, Lyft, Tesla-type company sort of controls transportation everywhere. And you're struggling to survive by keeping your rating up and making enough money to survive on the streets of Los Ojos.
Awesome. Well, let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
So what exactly do you do in this game?
So you're a driver, and it's a narrative game where you're trying to sort of figure out what's going on in the city, and there's always a huge amount of choice as to who you're going to pick up next as you navigate around and try to make it here. Originally, you were staying with your friend Savvy, but she's sort of vanished right after you arrived. So I'm going to pick up Sam Lucas now. I can see that he's only a 3-star passenger, so he's maybe a little bit risky. And we've got a series of cinematic camera angles that tell the story. Each character is sort of like a little short story, a little vignette, where choice is everything. So Sam has just asked me to pick him up in basically like a not safe zone, and I have to decide, should I risk the money of like parking illegally and maybe getting a fine, or should I risk losing a star by ticking off my customer?
Excellent. And you're not driving here. I see you've got a single mouse here.
That's right. You make driving decisions, but it's always it's like on rails. You're always choosing your path. It's like basically your path through the city and your path through the conversation are made through choice buttons. So basically, I'm just gonna choose how I feel there. And Sam has gotten into the back of my car. So he's been drinking, obviously. He's feeling a little worse for wear. That's me, Lina Romero.
Okay.
And if you want to tell me, you're free to drive.
Yeah, let's see. The new air, definitely.
Yeah.
That's most of my life is adjusting to the smell of drunk people.
Yeah, and apologies for my coffee breath. I know it's early in the morning.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Apologies for my mint breath.
It's much better,
my
actually.
My mint coffee breath
Yeah.
mix. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
it's a poignant cocktail. So we're just making small talk here, and you'll see I've got a feel-good bracelet here, which is a future peripheral. It's like a biometric thing that reads your emotions. So purple is... so he just said he saw puke in the back of the car. I don't know if people are able to read this at home, but he's claiming he just found some puke in my back seat. But I'm pretty sure
Milk
it's him.
and wings.
Yeah, and that's actually some procedurally generated content. That's
Okay.
different every time we play this game.
That is Sam Lucas is disgusting.
Yeah, he's kind of a gross character, and now he just threw up in my car. What am I going to do about this guy? Now you see my feel-good bracelet is changing to red. That means I'm angry and upset at him, and this is actually going to change my dialogue options. It's going to change the whole tone of the ride, and that's of course going to influence my rating at the end of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you ever pick up people who are just like, they are not going to give you a good rating no matter what?
There's always some puzzle to it, and we kind of see every passenger as a puzzle. With this guy, spoiler alert, there's no way to win with him, essentially.
Right.
The best way to win is to just let him get his way, and then he's not going to piss you off as much. But the more that I fight him on this, the more he's going to deny it in increasingly ridiculous ways. He's just not going to give an inch. And so a big part of our game is that sort of emotional intelligence of reading people, reading the facial emotions. We've spent so much time on the animation that you can read people's like moods as they change, both the player character and the passengers. And so he's sort of smirking at me now, like, I'm not going to be able to win with this guy. The best I can do is kind of cut my losses.
For sure. Which, we've all been there with some people.
Yeah, and some late night Lyft rides, I've met some pretty messed up characters. So,
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm going to push him one last time.
Yeah, push him.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of the core loop of NeoCab. I'm going to clean up puke in the back of my car, which is a great way to start your first night in Los Ojos. I could also have paid money to clean it up. The core loop then is that he's going to give me a rating, and that's going to directly feed into my gameplay. Real Lyft and Uber drivers actually will be fired immediately if their rating drops below 4.8 for a significant amount of time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that some? Wow. That is.
Yeah, it's pretty
This is
intense.
education hour of the just maybe me. Oof. Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty rough. So this 1-star rating could really knock me out for several rides. This is going to change how I deal with every passenger after this, and I only made $6 from this terrible ride. So yeah, that's NeoCab. That's the core loop, is just meeting interesting people and sort of seeing where the game takes you.
Okay. Well, let's go on another few rides here.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing did you do a lot of research for like Uber and Lyft?
Yeah, we talked to a ton of people in the gig economy, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers. We also watched a ton of Taxi Cab Confessions. I don't know if you remember that show.
That is an excellent show.
Yeah. But it's amazing, the intimate space of a car really makes people open up, and they will tell stories to a stranger that they might not tell their best friend or their partner.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So that was really exciting for us, for a conversational game of somebody gets in and they've got a problem, they've got something they need, and the puzzle as a player of trying to figure out what that is and figure out their story. And then in our game, you have the choice to pick them up again or just drop that storyline entirely. Like, I kind of compare it to in Westworld, when the milk can rolls up to you, like Dolores drops the milk can, if anyone watches that show. It's your choice to pick it up, and that's pulling a narrative thread that's going to lead you to a whole different story. In NeoCab, it's a big city with like a million stories, and you just sort of pick which thread to follow.
Okay. And will you ever come to a point where you have failed and you have to start the game over?
We do have a game over state. I would say that it's very, we give you lots of opportunities to course correct, right? So if someone gives you a 1-star rating, we're going to give you the opportunity to have a really nice passenger who, if you treat them well, you're going to get a better rating.
Awesome.
If your emotional state drops, there's things you can spend your money on to boost your feel good up again. So I'm currently kind of mad at this woman who's way overdone with her makeup right now.
She looks like Queen Amidala, sort of Star Wars.
Yeah, that's a good ref with that lip.
Maybe
yeah.
Lena doesn't like the prequels or something. Who knows?
I mean, who does? And maybe in the future, though. I mean, this is a near future game, so maybe they've become recognized as the cinematic masterpieces.
Yeah,
maybe
they are the good ones after every Star Wars movie coming out every single year.
That's a future I'm willing to live in. And what we're going to learn from her is that she's only known her boyfriend on Snapchat her whole time, and so he's never seen her without one of those 3D filters. So she's tried to make herself up to look as much like her Snapchat filter that she created.
All right, well, at least she's not showing up not looking like herself. But,
and so this is a ride where you're going to be able to give her advice on whether she should, be herself, be her sort of creative self, or maybe somewhere in between. And this is going to influence how her date goes, and then basically how her story goes for the rest of the game.
That's awesome. Do you ever will there be a point where maybe we pick this woman up and she's with the guy, or do you ever re-meet people you've...
Absolutely. Yep.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, we have a huge amount of branching stuff. So there's even a ride in the build now where a couple get in and they're on their first date and they get into a big fight, like a classic political fight, and you can try to stay out of it, but basically you're gonna have to pick a side, and then the other person gets out of the car, and now you might find the person who's left asking you on a date.
Oh wow.
Right.
Okay.
And you can imagine this really changes the next time you see the jilted lover. How are they going to respond to you, And it all of these random stories or these side stories feed into an overarching narrative, which is your friend has disappeared and under mysterious circumstances. And so you're trying to figure out where she is she okay? And what's really the story in Los Ojos with these autonomous vehicles and this megalith corporation that runs them?
For sure. So I'm very interested in specifically... I feel like this is very much in the same vein as a Papers, Please, where you are going to be hating a lot of the decisions. I mean, I know that I bring all my problems to Lyft drivers and make them decide what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can't be a good. I may be getting 3 stars. This is this.
Right. Papers, Please is a great reference for us. Yeah. The struggles of trying to be a good person while doing a job that has really tough constraints on you is, I think, something we can all relate to. Sometimes your job is just going to push you to do something that you wouldn't normally do, and that complicates the story in a way. If you've played Mass Effect, those games, I love them, but there's often clear distinction. Like, are you going to be the good guy or are you going to be the badass? And that's the kind of choice that's set up in NeoCab. It's much more about how are you being to this person moment to moment. When your rating is 1 star, maybe you can't do someone a solid. When but when your feel grid is growing bright green now, which means I'm like happy and chill, that means maybe I can put out like more, be more emotionally receptive to this person and help her out in a way that's like more complex.
Oh, you should have done the double cute.
Oh,
I was gonna say double cute.
yeah, I should let you drive, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should not let me drive. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
All right, so let's drop this person off. And,
All right.
Hopefully they'll have a good date.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a screen boyfriend.
Yeah. Right. I mean,
Like,
dating is hard enough in
my
our
screen
age.
boyfriend is Geralt from The Witcher. So,
Oh yeah, he's your bae.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. His bathtub photo is on my wallpaper, so I like all that. But
That's burned into my memory. Oh, so now we can see her without her makeup. So
you
just sort of
convinced her to just be herself.
Yep.
Oh, excellent.
Yep. And let's hope that works out for her. Fiona is one of our favorites of our large cast of characters.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when is this coming out and what platform?
We're currently definitely doing Mac and PC. We are looking into consoles, and we just started talking to people, so no promises there. And I can't commit to a time, but I'll say that the game is really far along, and it'll be out when it's done.
That's excellent. Well, I'm very excited to see more of it. I'm so grateful you brought it here. Thanks for coming. I hope you have a great rest of your E3, and thanks again for showing up.
Thanks for having us.
That's awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah.